A Short History of Nearly Everything. Book written by Bill Bryson. Part 2. The Size of the Earth. In the 17th and 18th century, scientists were almost obsessed with learning about the Earth. However, they were particularly interested in the size, age, exact location in space, but most of all, its origin. Astronomer Edmund Halley was mostly known for calculating the orbital path of a comet, now known as Halley's Comet. Halley also visited Isaac Newton to discuss theories of planetary motion. Halley persuaded Newton to expand his studies and to allow him to edit his work. Halley paid all the expenses, collected the proofs himself, and brought the famous Isaac Newton's Principia to life. Newton is also famous for his 3 laws. The first being, an object at rest will remain at rest unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. An object in motion continues in motion with the same speed in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. The second law being, acceleration is produced when a force acts on a mass. The greater the mass, the greater the amount of force needed. And finally, the third law, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Newton also created the law of universal gravitation. Newton's law of universal gravitation states that a particle attracts every other particle in the universe using a force that is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their centers. Wow, well that was a mouthful. I hope you got it, because we're moving on. The Earth is round. I mean, you probably knew that, but did you know that it's not perfectly round? Earth has an oblate, or squashed at the poles shape. Newton knew this because of his laws of motion and gravity, which helped him to come up with his theoretical idea. Earth's shape made navigating difficult. If we don't know exactly how Earth is shaped, then how can we navigate reliably? Just thought I'd remind you that this is the short history of nearly everything. So we're going to jump around a lot. So, hang in there. Alchemy is pretty much the ancient form of the chemistry we have today. It's the ancient search for elements. So, it's chemistry, but very limited. Carl Scheele was a chemist. He discovered 8 elements, complex compounds, and acids. However, due to the lack of knowledge back then, he would be around harsh chemicals a lot, and was eventually found dead with them surrounding him. In the first decades of the 19th century, chemistry was losing its bearings because of how rare and expensive the equipment is. Just like chemistry, astronomy also started losing its bearing because of how much it costs to do interstellar research. However, we know that chemistry and astronomy are still around today because we're learning about it in school, and it still exists. The periodic table. The periodic table is so exciting. It's like a cheat sheet that your teachers actually let you use. The periodic table is organized in horizontal rows called periods and vertical columns called groups. The elements' properties repeat periodically, which is why it's called the periodic table of elements. Radiation is the emission of energy as electromagnetic waves or moving subatomic particles, especially high-energy particles that cause ionization. This is really bad for us. We as humans know how to use it generally, like in bombs or for cancer therapy, but do we know how to protect ourselves against it? Not really. And on that note, it's time to end part 2 of A Short History of Nearly Everything. You can see more of my summaries for A Short History of Nearly Everything in my YouTube channel, and the links down below in the description. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.